The Library of Alexandria contained some of the greatest knowledge in human history. It held information on mathematics, anatomy, astronomy, medicine, philosophy, and more. Knowledge that was way ahead of its time. But it was destroyed, and humanity lost centuries of knowledge and technology. So, before we get into how the Library of Alexandria fell, let me first tell you what this great library actually was and how it came to be, because it was not just a place to store some books. The Great Library of Alexandria was a massive ancient library and part of a research institute known as the Mouseion, or the Museum in modern terms. It was located in Alexandria, Egypt. At the time, written material mainly existed in the form of papyrus scrolls, because paper as we know it would not be invented for another 4 centuries. And here's something interesting. Most of what we know about the Library of Alexandria is actually a patchwork of ancient writers who wrote decades later. A partially surviving library catalog, quotes from lost books, and a few archaeological clues, which is kind of ironic, really. The Library of Alexandria was built with the purpose of documenting everything. Yet, it is one of history's least documented institutions. According to the few remaining historical records, if we include the daughter library at the Serapeum, the collection may have contained around 400,000 to 700,000 papyrus scrolls. And the Ptolemaic rulers used some questionable methods to build that huge collection. They famously searched ships entering the harbor for texts, kept the originals for the library, and gave the owners copied replacements. Or sometimes they just did not give anything back at all. Straight up robbery. A cruel world. Anyway, the Library of Alexandria was established under the Ptolemaic Dynasty of Egypt, which ruled from 323 to 30 BCE. Although legend says the idea came from Alexander the Great himself, that has been challenged. It seems to have been proposed by Ptolemy I Soter, the founder of the Ptolemaic dynasty, and actually built under Ptolemy II Philadelphus, who also acquired the first books for its collection. Ptolemy II charged Demetrius of Phalerum, an exiled Athenian statesman, with helping found the library and collect as many books as possible from the world. The institution's first librarian, Zenodotus of Ephesus, organized the collection topically by room and pioneered the use of alphabetical order to sort scrolls within their categories. And yes, alphabetical order was invented here. The Library of Alexandria flourished in this early state for around a century. But in 145 BCE, the institution suffered its first major setback. During a royal power struggle, Ptolemy VIII Physcon drove out many of the city's intellectuals, including head librarian Aristarchus of Samothrace. And this was only the beginning. Over the next 700 years, the library suffered setback after setback, which eventually led to its end. The first blow on the road to its decline was caused by a man you probably know very well, Julius Caesar. In 48 BCE, Egypt became a flashpoint in the struggle between Julius Caesar and the allies of his rival, Pompey the Great. Caesar came to Alexandria, struck up his famous alliance and romantic relationship with Cleopatra VII, and fought off attacks from forces led by Cleopatra's brother and sister. To defend against an assault on the royal quarter, Caesar set fire to ships in the harbor as a diversion. But the flames spread to the city, burning portions of the royal palace and the Mouseion, including at least part of the library. That's right, the greatest collection of knowledge in the ancient world was almost burned. The reason I said almost is because the library seems to have survived Caesar. According to Plutarch, Mark Antony later gave Cleopatra VII the entire collection of 200,000 books from the Library of Pergamon in 43 BCE for the library. So, clearly a library still existed in Alexandria after Caesar's death in 44 BCE. But it is still believed that the library suffered major damage, and 40,000 scrolls were lost, according to the philosopher Seneca the Younger. The second blow came when Alexandria saw a Palmyrene invasion and an imperial counterattack. Between 270 and 275 AD, the entire royal quarter, where the library sat, was leveled in the crossfire. And the main building of the Library of Alexandria was completely destroyed. But this was still not the end. The Serapeum, the daughter library, still remained, and scholars continued to use it as the main library. Until the third blow came in 391 AD. The Christian emperor Theodosius issued a decree outlawing all pagan practices in the Roman Empire. He ordered the Temple of Serapis in Alexandria destroyed and a Christian church built on the site. Since this contained the library annex, manuscripts are assumed to have been destroyed as well. It may have contained around 10% of the Library of Alexandria's collection. By 415 CE, the library was already a ghost of itself. But Alexandria still had one last great mind: Hypatia, a philosopher and mathematician, and arguably the smartest person in the city. A Christian mob dragged her into a church and murdered her. Her school collapsed. Every remaining scholar left Alexandria, and the intellectual flame that the library had kept burning for 700 years finally went out. Not with a fire, but with a murder. The most dramatic story of all is also almost certainly the most fictional. Legend says that when Arab forces took Alexandria, Caliph Omar was asked what to do with the remaining scrolls. He reportedly said, "If they agree with the Quran, they are unnecessary. If they contradict it, they are heresy. Burn them either way." Great story. Problem is, nobody wrote it down until 600 years after it supposedly happened. Most historians today believe there was nothing left to burn by 642 CE. The story was likely invented to villainize a political enemy. The library was already dead. Someone just needed a final villain. And there you have it. The burning of the Library of Alexandria was not one single event. It was a slow process over 700 years, not the one-night destruction that so many people imagine. So, I do not want to be that guy, but if you enjoyed the video, feel free to like and subscribe, and do share your opinion in the comments. Till we meet again.